My initial choice in Year 12 wasn't to do high-level English. I actually did 2 high-level sciences, but about a month into the course I realised that 2 high-level sciences, while very interesting, was very intensive, and I didn't feel that standard-level English was complex enough. Although it was a good course, I felt that I needed more in-depth study of the novels, and high-level English studies supplementary books to standard level, so it allowed me to sort of deepen my understanding of literature in general. So that was primarily why I decided to change to high-level English about a month into Year 12.
Well, I mean, I was really interested in literature in general, and I looked at some of the books on the list, and I did some reading on those, and I was pretty interested in some of the stuff to explore some of the things, and also I enjoyed the course in GCSE as well, so I just thought I'd take it a step further in IB.
Well, firstly I needed to take 3 higher subjects, and that was a problem for me, but when I thought about what I'm going to choose for my higher subjects, I thought I'd much rather read a few extra books and do a little bit more further reading compared to, say, revising a lot for math higher. So I suppose I was more interested in reading more books in English higher rather than any other higher subjects.
In Year 11 I didn't know what university degree I wanted to do, so I wanted to keep my options open, and English seemed like a pretty broad option.
I think the principal difference between GCSE and IB is the volume. In GCSE you don't do many novels, you only do 2 in fact. Whereas in IB you do 3 novels in the first term of Year 12. You know, it's a much more intensive course. You're much more reliant on your own interpretation as opposed to the teacher sitting and telling you what this means and why is this symbolic. It's much more you going home and reading and finding out for yourself, and the teacher just guides you in this.
The course is different from GCSE because there's more depth in the course. There's a lot more depth, and it's a lot faster. The pace is much faster in GCSE, whereas in GCSE we did 2 books over the course of 2 years. In IB we have 3 books in the first term, and we just keep going. It's just really quick, and there's a lot more personal reading that needs to be done away from the classroom itself.
It's really different in the sense that you need to know your stuff, and you need to read your books beforehand, because once you get into classes you need to know what is going on. Like in GCSE you'd sit around and read the whole entire book with your whole class, but you don't get to do that. You're jumping around in the novel, and you really need to know your stuff.
We have to read a lot more books, and much more is expected from you, and you really have to work hard. In GCSE sometimes you just have to know the exam questions or the structure, but a lot of the IB is coursework.
The advice I'd give to most Year 11s deciding to take high-level English is to do the reading in the summer and at Christmas, when you have to read the novels to start world literature, because I think it really helps to have, even if you don't do any interpretation or annotation, if you just get an understanding of the plot of the novel, it can really help the lessons when they come later on, when the teacher is trying to explain the significance of events.
First of all, do the summer reading, very important. And second of all, be prepared to speak a lot in lessons, and give your personal opinion on the book. Try and talk as much as you can on things relating to the book itself. Don't be quiet, because then you might fall behind.
Read your books on time, because when we start a book, we go pretty quickly between books, and when we start a new book, we don't start from the beginning, and we don't do any reading in class. We jump around and do maybe the end chapter and then the middle chapter, so if you don't read it, it won't make sense.
It's a very fun but intensive course, and you've really got to keep on top of things, especially with the reading you have to do at home, and often your teachers may give you supplementary reading to do with articles about the novels themselves. So I think the greatest challenge has been staying on top of things, in addition to all the 5 other IB subjects that I was doing.
Sometimes the books, some of the plots are a bit confusing, and you have to do a lot more additional reading. And also the articles that are given by our teacher, sometimes it's hard to trace them back to the book, and it's hard to relate all of them in general.
I find oral commentaries really difficult. It's hard to be given an unseen extract and to be able to annotate it on the spot, under pressure and under time pressure. Yeah, annotation skills has to be really intense.
The assessment criteria, the wording is really vague. It's hard to determine how much. It just says a good commentary is used, or in-depth analysis, but it doesn't define what in-depth means, and doesn't define when it's in-depth analysis and when it's over-analysing something.